Hello class, this is Pre-Algebra 4.12. Today we're talking about solving formulas. So we know that we can use what we know about solving equations to solve formulas. So let's take a look at some of the formulas we're going to need today. The first one is the perimeter of a rectangle. So let's draw a rectangle here. And as you know, squares are in fact rectangles. And we need to find the perimeter. And if we remember, the perimeter of a rectangle is all the sides added together, right? So it's, let's say, the length plus the length plus the width plus the width, right? So it's length plus width plus width. Now, we can condense this formula into simpler, easier to solve equations. So instead of writing perimeter of a rectangle, I can simply condense this into perimeter. And then I can keep the equal sign. And then instead of length plus length, I can just count and say, how many lengths do I have? Well, there are two, right? So I can say that there are two lengths, or 2 times L. And let's make these look like L's so we don't get confused with ones. So 2 times the length. And then what can we say about the width? Well, there's two of those. So we can say it's also the width twice, or 2 times the width. Width plus width is the same thing as saying 2 times W. Therefore, the perimeter of any rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And if we tested this out, we can easily see that if the length over here was worth 4 and the width was worth, 5, and we just substituted those values in, we would get 2 times the length, which is 4, or 4 plus 4, added to 2 times the width, which is 5, or 5 plus 5. If we added them up together indiscretely, which means all together, it'd be 4 plus 4, 8. This is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. And let's say what we get here. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 times 5 is 10, and we still get the perimeter being 18. Okay, so it works there. We also have other formulas, such as the area, right? Let's take a look at area. We know area of a shape, and specifically a rectangle, to be length times width, right? The length multiplied by the width. So if we had a rectangle, let's get our rectangle back here, and we were trying to find the area, well, first we would need to know what the length is, and we would need to know what the width is, right? And let's just say for this problem, our width was, again, 4, and our length is a little longer this time, so let's go with 6. All we would need to do is write the equation again. Instead of writing area of a rectangle, I'm just going to write A is equal to the length multiplied by the width. You may also see it written area equals LW, which means L times W. All you would need to do is replace the length with what they said the length is, so that's a 6, and the W with what they said the width is, which is 4, and you multiply that out. That's what the parentheses mean. 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 6 4 times 12, 12, 24. And so the area of this shape is 24, whatever the units are, units squared. And finally, if we're going to talk about volume, remember the volume is how much space it takes to fill up an object. if we're going to talk about the volume of a box, let's draw our box here. Here. There's our box. And we need to find out a couple things, right? The volume is equal to the length times the width times the height. And so we say length can be really any of these long sections. The width is any of these fat sections. And the height is any of these tall sections. And if we fill in the information, let's just say the length is, 5 inches. The height is 4 inches. It's a small box. And the width is 6 inches. Well, what is the volume of this box? Or how many small little cubes would it take to fill this box? Well, our equation is V is equal to length times width times height. And so we can say volume is length, which is 5 inches, times width, which is 6 inches, times height, which is 4 inches. And if we broke this down, this would be 5 times 6 times 4. I'm going to do the easy math first. I'm going to do the volume is equal to 5 times 6, which is 30. 30 times 4. 30 multiplied by 4 is 120. And I prove it here. And so our final answer is 120 inches. And then remember what kind of shape it is. It's a cubed. And there we have it. So if we were solving this from a word problem, we might have something that looks like this. Find the width of a rectangle with a length of 6 yards, not boards, but yards, and a perimeter of 18 yards. Okay, so how would we do this? Well, first I need to figure out what I know for a fact. And what do I know for a fact is I've got a rectangle, right? The very first thing is I've got a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I know that the rectangles, all rectangles have lengths for the long sides and widths for the short side. So we know that at least. Okay, what else do we know? It says in the problem that the length is, I didn't write it in there. The length is 6 yards. Okay? We know for a fact that the length is 6 yards. So we can say L is 6 yards. What else do we know? And the perimeter is 18 yards. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. The perimeter is 18. Well, it seems that we need to find out what the width is, which it says find the width. So what is the width? Well, I know that the perimeter of a rectangle is the equation 2L plus 2W, or length plus width plus width. So what I can do is I can fill in information I already know. Well, if I know for a fact that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, and the problem already tells me that the perimeter is 18 yards, Well, I can replace the perimeter with 18 yards. And then I can fill in what information I know. So what do I know? I know that L is 6 yards. I do not know what the width is, but I can use algebra to solve. So I know it's 18 on this side. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 2w. Oh, well, now I need to get rid of this 12, so I use the inverse operation, which is subtraction, because this is a positive number. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. 18 minus 12 is 6. 6 is equal to, I bring down the 2w because nothing changed. And what do I know about 2w? Well, 2w is really 2 times w equals 6. So to get rid of this 2, I need to divide, which is the opposite or the inverse of multiplication. 2 divided by 2 will get rid of it because it's going to turn into a 1w, 1 times w. And on this side, 6 divided by 2 will be 3. So the end result is 3 is equal to 1w, or 1 times w is w. And there you have it. Your width is 3. So instead of pretending and not knowing that we are right, we can test it. We can say, if it is true that perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times w, well then, our perimeter of 18 should be equal to 2 times 6 plus 2 times 3. Let's test to see if that is true. 18 equals 2 times 6, which is 12, plus 2 times 3, which is 6. 12 plus 6 is in fact 18. Our answer is correct. Our width is 3. And we